What is up, everyone? Jeremy here. Welcome to another video in my In the Mix series, the video series dedicated to everything mixing and building a great mix. In this video, we are going to take a look at an updated version of my Modern Metal all-stock Logic mix template, which I shared in a previous video. This updated version features the Logic sampler already configured for my favorite kick and snare samples from the Bogren drum samples pack. It also features an updated, mostly free guitar tone and some general mix improvements. Alright, so getting started, the very first thing I want to do is let you hear some audio samples. Then we'll break down the updates in the updated Logic mix template. So what we're going to do first is listen to the previous template, which is all 100% stock. There are no external libraries, drum samples, or anything. It's all stock. And this is what it sounds like. All right, and now the updated, new, and improved version, which features the Bogren drum samples, specifically on the kick and snare and the drum rooms, in addition to the new guitar tone and some overall general mix improvements. And here is what it sounds like. All right, there it is. You heard it. Obviously, just comparing those two, you can hear there is a tremendous difference between the all-stock version and this new and improved version, which features the Bogren drum samples and the Bogren Christian Cola IR pack on the guitar tones. So before we actually start breaking down the updates and taking a look at this new Logic template and getting into specifically what was different between this one and the previous one, I want to point out that you will find links to all of the paid products that I will demonstrate in this new Logic template. You'll find those links in the description of this video, and specifically that is the Bogren drum samples pack and the Christian Cola IR pack from, again, Bogren Digital. So those links are in the description. Find them there and grab those, and you're ready to get this exact mix. So with that, let's go ahead and start breaking down what's new in this version. The first thing we're going to start with is the drums, obviously, because there is a huge improvement there with these drum samples from Bogren. And the very first thing I want to point out is these are configured in the Logic sampler. This is a painful, time-consuming process, and I only set up my favorite kick and my favorite snare and 2 different room, like ambient snares, because I actually like the dry snares sound different from the wet or the room, the ambient snare from the sample. So I kind of blend them a little bit to taste, if you will. So I've got all of that pre-configured with the different velocities, the round robin algorithms and everything. It's all in the sampler ready to go. Now, when you install this and you launch and you pull up the sampler for the first time, it's going to tell you it can't find the audio files because it's looking in the location on my computer, which is going to be different from your computer. So what it's going to do is it's going to offer you an option to locate the samples, which after you've purchased those samples and you've downloaded them to your computer and you've got them in a folder on your computer somewhere, it's as simple as clicking the locate button, navigating to where those samples are on your computer, selecting them, and that's it. It'll automatically find the rest of the samples and everything will work. So that is the simple process of getting those samples set up. Now, the next thing is with the sampler, it is set up as a multi-output. So you'll see multi-output right here. It's set up as multi-output, and you'll see we have outputs 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and 7 and 8 right here. So the main output is this one, and that is the kick as it's labeled on the bottom here. And I'll zoom in my screen. Maybe you can see this a little bit better. All right, there we go. So we have the main output here, which is kick. Then we have the snare top, which is output 3 and 4. Then we have the room 1, 2 different room snare sounds, and this is the first one and the second one. So 5 and 6 is one of them, 7 and 8 is another one. So I'll just play each of these back in solo so you can hear what they sound like here real quick. Okay, that's the kick drum, and then this is the snare top. There it is, and then here's the first room and the second room. And you can hear the second room is blended back a little bit further because I like the room 1 a little bit louder than the room 2, but that's the way that I mix them. And so those are the drum samples. Again, it's all pre-configured, ready to go. You just have to locate the samples in the sampler and you're done. You'll have those drum tones. Now for the guitar tone, this is quite different from the original template. So in the original template, as I've said many times, it was 100% stock. It was the built-in pedal board and guitar amp designer. Now, this guitar tone in the updated version is still mostly free, and it can still be completely free depending on what impulse responses you use. But quickly running through what makes up this guitar tone now, it is the Dr. Drive from Audiority. I have this in previous videos. I've shown this is a fantastic emulation of the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. Great pedal. It does a fantastic job, and it is free. The link for this is in the description. Find it there. Then we go into the STL Tones Ignite Amps Emissary. Again, fantastic amp sim. I've done videos on this in the past as well. And this comes as a bundle with a free IR loader. And the IR loader is called NAT-IR, again from STL Tones and Ignite Amps. So you'll get both the amp sim and the IR loader. The link for that, again, is in the description. Find it there. And the impulse responses I'm using that you heard in the audio samples so far, and I will solo here in just a second for you to hear, those are from the Christian Cola IR pack from Bogren Digital. So specifically, I'm using the Juicy Vintage Fullness and the DV30. So the Juicy Vintage Fullness from the Chainsaws pack and the DV30 from the Rainbows pack. All right, and so I will solo them now so you can hear them, but do note, as I've mentioned many, many times on my channel, in context is what truly matters, but here is what they sound like solo. All right, and the other big thing that is different about this updated template versus the original is a lot of the just general mixing has been updated. That's some additional or updated EQ across the drums, the bass, and the guitars. Even the master bus processing, just minor tweaks there. But the biggest thing that I want to point out is how I'm processing the drum rooms now, because it is completely different. So in this version, we have a drum room A, a drum room B, which is what we had before. There is less processing going on here now. I have the compressor off. I could probably get rid of it, but I'll leave it there for you to just play with when you download the template. But there's less processing happening in these actual tracks now, and they're actually this is being sent into a new bus that did not exist in the other version. So this bus is where the heavy compression is happening. I'm adding saturation and additional EQ. That's where all of the heavy lifting of the processing for the drum rooms is happening now. So in addition to the drum room A and drum room B, we now also have the Jens Bogren drum samples. We have a snare room A and snare room B, or snare room 1 and 2. And those are also being sent, as you can see here, into the drum room bus. The bus is right here. And we are doing, as I said, we're adding some saturation with the distortion plugin, just a little bit of EQ here to add some beef on the low end and cut some of the top end sizzle. And then our compressor, and this isn't doing a ton. It's basically extending the length of the snare hits and things like that just by a little bit. I think we're maxing it around -6 dB. I'll play this and we'll just kind of take a look. Yeah, it's about -6 dB is kind of where it's maxing out at. So that is quite different. And as you'll notice, each of these says no output. So this is going, so we've got this one and this one going to no output, and this one and this one going to no output. That's because these are being routed into the bus pre-fader. So the amount that is sent into the bus is determined by the amount on the dial here. So we turn that's how much is going into the bus, and then from the output of the bus, that goes back into the drum rooms. So the bus is here, and you can see we're routing this into the main drum bus, which is over here. So that just kind of gets blended all back in together. So that is how I'm doing the drum room processing now, and it is quite different. So when you download the template, take a look at how all that works, play with it, and hopefully that will help maybe come up with some ideas on how you can do different parallel processing in your mixes in the future. All right, so that is it. That is the updated mix template. There's really no reason for me to go into much more detail on just the general mix itself, because this is mainly meant to be a learning exercise, and the best way for you to actually learn how to do any of this is to actually go and download the template yourself and use it, start playing with it, see the settings I have here, tweak them, see what changes, see what sounds you get out of it. So with that, you will find the download link to this free template in the description below. So go ahead, find that. Hit the links for the Bogren Digital drum samples and the Christian Cola IR pack if you're interested in picking those up, and as well as the Audiority Dr. Drive and the STL Tones Emissary and Net IR. All of those links are in the description. Grab them there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this video right there. If you found this helpful or useful in any way, do me a favor and hit that like button down below, and consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. There is a lot more like this coming in the future, so if you find this interesting, do subscribe. And as always, I want to thank you for watching and thank you for your support.